Okay, we're going to open the meeting at 6:02, and we're going to start off by reading the decorum statement. The select board meetings are open business meetings for the duly elected members to facilitate town business. Members of the public are not only allowed but encouraged to attend. During meetings, the board and when called upon, members of the public will engage in civil discussion of town matters. Personal comments are not welcome and personal attacks will not be allowed. It is our sincere hope that we can all conduct town business in a professional and kind manner. So, and that wasn't meant to you folks new here, it was, so, but welcome to you. Okay, so our first order of business is we'll hear a motion to approve the January 13th minutes.
So moved.
Second, okay, has everybody gotten a chance to read them over?
Yes.
Any discussion? Guess not. And all those in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Okay, then we have members of the public. We have two folks in the back. I don't think you've gotten their names, Connie.
It's Haley.
Haley and,
McNamara.
okay, Denny McNamara. Welcome to everybody. And let's see, then we have no additions, deletions, no correspondence. We're up to warrants, Rob.
Here we go. Flying right along.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, do you want to speak?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I had some concerns. So I was on Front Porch Forum a few weeks ago, and I noticed a guy named Corey Sicklin giving my neighbor Katie's job sort of up for farming on Front Porch Forum, asking if there were grant writers that wanted to grant write for the town of Townsend. And I didn't know who this guy was or why he was doing that, because he's obviously not one of y'all. So I was super confused and looked him up, and he's a judge in Florida,
Correct.
not a resident of.
He's not a resident, he has no vote in Townsend, and he does own a house here and pays property taxes here. And he has, under the select board, started a Friends of the Town Hall and he's had events here. But that's as far as he goes.
Okay, but that Friends of Town Hall, that's the group that I saw is proposing.
He has, in my opinion, no right to do that.
Okay, that's what I was concerned
Yes.
about. I'm like, he's a non-voting, non-resident.
And Katie's job is not in jeopardy.
Okay,
You know, we are very happy with what Katie's done. Katie can prove her minuscule wages to the great amount of monies that she brings in for our town. And so it was out of place, but not directed from us at all.
yeah, that's what I thought. But I mean, his proposal, being a non-resident, would raise taxes for the residents, and I thought that was a hysterical reach of his.
That's not his area.
Yeah,
He has no right to
He has
do
no-
that, and he will be spoken to at some point. I just haven't, I'm kind of calming down before I do that.
fair, yes, yeah.
I just don't want to overreact. I just want to be forceful that this is not your place.
Yeah, well, I just, as a resident, would
Yeah.
like to be on record saying I would very much not like out-of-state people trying to dictate how we spend our money for our town.
That's not gonna happen.
Okay, great. So that's what I wanted to know.
And as I said, we're very happy with what Katie does. And-
Absolutely.
And,
We appreciate everything that she does for the town.
and I said it actually makes us a stronger board, because when somebody attacks one of your own, you start to feel more unity almost.
Right,
So,
exactly. Okay.
so we're there with Katie, and we'll make sure everything's okay. And we will talk to him as a board. I don't want to do it alone.
Okay.
No, we will do it as a board.
He is planning to come to the meeting on the 10th,
11th or February?
February 10th, is it?
10th or 11th.
Yeah, whatever our first February meeting is. So if you folks want to come back then, he'll probably be here and we could all talk to him together.
No problem.
No one is going after this person, trust me.
Okay.
No one.
All right.
So, is there anything else that you folks?
I have similar concerns, and I put a list of questions together. I don't know if they're appropriate for this meeting or the next meeting, which I hopefully should be able to attend. But they have more to do with the Friends of the Townshend Town Hall and Opera House committee, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Not a commission?
Not a committee.
It is not
It
a
is
committee.
a separate entity that is not affiliated with the town in any official capacity.
Oh,
So it
okay.
is not a committee of the select board.
Even when they come to do painting or whatever, they get their
Yeah.
own insurance. So they're not even under town insurance at that point. So
Okay.
they are separate entities that we've allowed, I guess, to help with the maintenance and volunteer doing things. But you know, as I said a minute ago, that front porch forum piece was totally out of line because it made it sound like the town of Townsend was saying that.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see that. I'm just concerned. I appreciate beautification work. I think like painting railings and doing this and that, flowers and decorations, that's cool. I like that. And if somebody's willing to do that, that's awesome. I'm curious if there are any sort of agreements or understandings between the town and this group. For example, are they required to notify anybody if they're going to come and do painting? And if so, do those people that come, do they have any legal waivers or hold harmless waivers, and have they
Connie, do
presented
you
them
want
to
to
you?
speak to that? We have a folder about that.
My understanding is that when Corey was forming this volunteer organization, he came before the board. It described it as volunteers who want to do beautification and maybe some preservation, that they would bring to us as the select board, not me, the select board, prior to anything that they do for approval. So they were seeking approval for the things that they wish to do. And then they do have waivers. So if somebody comes and volunteers, they sign a waiver. Now, I don't know if that's 100%, but Corey was getting those waivers.
And he was providing insurance.
And we're not funding it.
No, I understand. I'm more concerned with like town liability. You know, given like
He is
again,
too, yeah.
beautification projects are great, but if there's not like a clear system of you know, checking waivers against the people who come and do work on ladders, whatever, like I assume that's a big liability for the town. And yeah, so I was concerned about that. Also, like I appreciate beautification projects. Are these is he giving you a list of prior to doing the work?
That was our agreement in the beginning.
And is he following through with that?
I think he has. I mean, has he polished a plaque without our approval? Maybe, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I think that the work that he's done so far, he laid out to the
Yeah.
select board in a proposal.
It
Yeah.
was pretty much all painting projects outside.
It was painting, it was
Painting.
cleaning, it
Yeah.
was like reworking that little glass cupboard that had like a
Season-
bulletin board in it.
Seasonal decorations, I mean, he had it all in a
Mhm.
proposal that the select board reviewed
Okay.
and
Who's
okay.
paying for that? Is that-
Yeah. Where did the paint?
So far, it's been it's been the organization, the volunteer.
Is he
organization.
is he doing fundraising on his own? I don't know that.
Is
Yeah.
he expecting to be reimbursed?
No,
Okay.
no.
The one thing that he was, as an individual, reimbursed for is he found the person to repair the clock. And
Which we hadn't been able to find somebody to repair
and
the
he
clock
did
for
that more as
years.
an individual.
And was that pre-approved by the board to?
No, Alenka was asked to find it, she couldn't find it, and then he found it, and they talked about it, and he got reimbursed for the guy.
That seems like a problem,
It could be.
Yeah.
especially if he's already deciding to hire and fire people.
Well, but I mean, the clock came before the article.
And I do think he did it in conjunction like with the town clerk and the
Yeah.
town clerk assistant.
Yeah,
Okay, but that's not somebody we voted for.
Right.
So
So the
He is
clerk
not.
you did, she's an
Yeah.
elected official.
But he is not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I just ask a couple more questions?
Sure.
Yeah, so I think what I'm curious about too is in the most recent newsletter sent out, I'm on the mailing list, the January 2026 Friends of the Townsend Town Hall and Opera House update. Corey claims there's 100 members of this organization. Do we know who these members are? Am I a
No.
member because I get the email
probably,
list?
probably you're
Okay.
included in the 100.
So that leads me to be concerned that this is likely a pet project of a non-resident of Townsend, and that's fine. Again, if you want to volunteer time and beautify the town hall, like cool. Like again, I like the Christmas decorations and all that. I like the funky tree more, but you know.
Thank you.
100 members, is there an understanding? So why that concerns me is he's proposing $25,000 to go to this group to pay for improvements that I see laid out, I think last meeting, he proposed this. And I'm just like going through item by item from very high priority to high priority. And I'm not a professional builder, but some of this stuff looks like it's not very high priority. And there's like, I imagine there's like more robust structural things like a roof and.
That's why we're sending it off in an article to be voted on at town meeting, is to appropriate the 25,000 or not appropriate it. Bring it to the voters, like yourself, the group.
So
All
was
of
it
us.
supposed to go to petition first though, before it became an article?
It doesn't have to go to petition. What happens, say you have an article you want to be on the town meeting. You bring it to us. If we said no to you, you can go out and you have every right to get, I think it's 65 people or
Yes.
something like that to say we want this article, and then that outvotes us saying no. It was my feeling to say yes to the article because it lets it be put in front of the town audience. And then you have the right to say all of these things like you're just saying, Tyler, I don't think this is this, I think this is that, I think you've overstepped here, you know. A lot of things can be brought up to the public forum if the article is there. So,
I do just want to clarify one point.
Yeah.
It is not $25,000 for the Friends of the Town Hall. That is not what the article is raising. It is for a reserve account that would be owned by the town for purposes that he laid out. But I just want to clarify, it is
Okay.
not to go to the organization.
I looked at the budget from either the warning or last year, and there are two line items in the budget that seem to be reserve funds for the town hall or preservation.
we had one for $50,000 2 years ago it was, and it was for town hall repairs and to specifically to help with ADA compliance.
Yeah.
And that one we're still,
Third?
no, that was one that I know of.
That's
Yeah,
And then this is a second one that the only thing I approved was for it to be on the town meeting. I didn't say, yay, I think this is wonderful. I want you guys to have a voice in what happens.
And that's not just her, that's,
Yeah,
we voted
Okay, yeah.
3-2-1. So it's like, pretty much, we want you guys to be able to be in the know, have a list, go over it, and when it comes time to vote over there or upstairs, wherever we're gonna be, that's what it's for, is for you to make the choice of whether to take the 25,000 and put it into the reserve for the building or not to.
yeah.
And so we didn't vote to
approve it.
We're not for
No, I
or
totally
against it in
understand.
any ways. We're just saying,
Yeah.
we're leaving it up to the voters to vote on.
So,
And that's what, and to be honest with you, I've been on the board for a while, and that's what I've always tried to be, is like, let the voters vote on the big ticket items. The small stuff, we can take care of. The big stuff, that should be up to all of us to come up with what we think is the proper thing to do.
so correct me if I'm wrong, because this is maybe rumors and gossip and whatnot, but I heard about the treasurer kind of misappropriating some funds in the past couple of years and things getting confused in the budget, in the treasurer.
I think probably the word misappropriated leads to it sounding larcenous at all, but
I didn't mean it like
Yeah,
that.
no,
I
I'm
just
just-
meant like there was confusing things.
yeah, like we had
documented
something with the fire
correctly.
department where something wasn't book kept correctly, and we had to dig in and
So-
find out what happened to it.
So if we have redundancies in, say,
Reserve
reserves
accounts.
that are all meant to be this for the same purpose, does that create problems for our already sort of murky bookkeeping situation?
Well,
It could.
that's exactly
That's why I voted
why
no.
2 people voted against it.
Okay.
And 3 people voted for it so that the townspeople could have a vote, so,
Well, I also have the concern that since he has that Corey has decided to step in and fix the clock or whatever, and which, okay, that's fine, and then get reimbursed later for work that he decided to do, not stuff that you decided to
well,
do.
it was something we approved Alanka doing, and Alanka couldn't find somebody, and she asked Corey, so that's murky in itself, but.
Right, so then furthering his sort of murky overreach power worries me.
Yeah, well, then come to town meeting and vote no on the article. I mean, that is your
Well,
power.
does the article need to remain there?
Yeah,
I'm
at this
just
point.
curious.
It is part of the warning now,
Okay.
and it was voted on to be included in the warning, so it will be there,
Okay.
but
And
make your
I
voice
mean-
heard.
To me, I think it's great to make your voice heard at town meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more powerful than it just not being there.
Yeah, not
You know.
worried about doing that.
Yeah, and I mean, I just
Right.
encourage everybody to come to town meeting. It's such an important part of our government, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So, any more?
I want to just say I also want to support Katie's grant writing position. I've been able to review the amount of money that was raised through grant writing. I think it's a necessary and important position in a town to have a paid grant writer and not a volunteer team of grant writers, primarily because a lot of federal and state funds are issued through grants, and you cannot access federally allocated money or state allocated money without applying for certain grants. Has this been the case with any of the grants that you've gotten, that they've come from state or federal allocations?
Most of them, yes, and they require you to be a municipality or representative to a municipality or something along those lines. Not all of them, but pretty much all of the ones that we've received so far.
Can you see a disadvantage in having, like, say you're not in this position or another paid person is in this position, but instead a team of volunteers?
I think it would add to the list of people exchanging that information, because inevitably, in order for the municipality to apply for a grant, you would need to then, if you had a group of volunteers, they could, if they did that legwork, they'd still have to turn it over to somebody at the municipality to then do that application, have it signed by the chair, all of those kinds of things. So it's just one more layer of communication that you'd be adding.
And Katie's very good. Before she applies for anything, she comes in, she tells us what legwork she's done, what the grant would do for us, if there are any drawbacks in the grant, if there's any, like, you pay this and we'll pay that type situations. So she keeps us in the loop all the time, and it's working very well, as evidenced by her professional behavior and as evidenced by the dollar amounts that we've brought in. And I just can't at this point see adding more people to something that's working well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just to remind everyone, folks at home too, on the record, Katie gives regular monthly reports to the board as grant coordinator. We will have a report today, I believe, right? Second meetings of the month. She gives probably one of the more detailed time cards of any town employee, not to say anything against any town employee, but she just gives a very detailed record of everything that she is doing as a grant writer. And I believe last year you secured a grant and much of that paid for your wages as grant writer,
Yeah,
correct?
we were able to pay for my wages for 6 months, put some grant education
Yeah.
funds to the side that the board decided to allocate, which I have not used yet, just sort of because it was a hit the ground running situation, so that money sits there, and also that grant was used, or is, some of that money is sitting for, to be used for the fountain if that project ends up getting off the ground, and then another part of that money was for our, cybersecurity.
Right.
For some of the members of the board.
Good. So anything else?
I mean, thank you for answering questions. Thank you for listening to me and supporting Katie.
You'll see more of us.
Yes, I hope so. That's government in action, right?
I have a question.
Yes.
Connie, did you get my email?
I did, I'm just kind of backlogged a little bit.
It's okay, send it at 4 o'clock.
We are getting the town report to the printer tomorrow. It's been a very busy time.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, so gotta make sure every dot is there. So, anything else about this situation? Any other members of the public would like to speak? Okay, shall we go on to the warrants then?
Thank you all.
Make a motion
You can
to-
stay for the whole meeting, folks.
Make a motion to pay the warrants, starting with payroll, in the amount of $16,201.93. Number 2, payroll tax, in the amount of $7,818.03. Number 3, general fund, the amount of $4,840.10. Number 4, highway fund, in the amount of $37,884.03, for a total of $66,744.09.
Okay, so, any discussion, folks?
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
And I'll say aye, and Katie, are you abstaining? Okay, you got that.
I'm gonna abstain too. I don't have a pay in there.
Okay.
I didn't
I
put
don't
yours
have one
in
there.
yet.
You didn't? Okay. well, then
I put
say
that
aye.
note on there for next week,
Yeah.
next period.
I haven't requested mine.
Okay, and who seconded the motion?
Okay, and now we have a highway report given to us by Connie.
It's in your packet. Jeremy is unable to attend tonight. They've been working pretty flat out because of the storm recently. So you'll see in your packet that he just gave some updates.
Any highlights for the,
I can read them for the group if you
Yeah,
want.
so go
Okay.
ahead.
So this is what Jeremy gave this afternoon, which is that all the trucks are up and operating well. Jeremy worked with the road commissioner and the select board chair in response to the most recent storm. They all had discussions ahead of the time, and the execution of the plowing seemed to work well during this massive storm. Didn't appear to have any problems that anybody has reported. He did say Townsend, like most towns in the area, is having a very hard time getting salt. About a month ago, he ordered 100 tons. He's only been able to secure 22 of those 100 tons, and that's not unusual. I guess most towns are going through that right now. It's not currently a problem because the weather is so cold, so ice is not developing. It's when ice begins to develop that it's going to be more of an issue, that the salt is not coming in the way we expected it to. Regarding sand, this extreme cold has frozen up the sand, so luckily there hasn't been a great need for sand because there isn't much ice. Once the weather warms up, the sand will unfreeze in the shed and won't be an obstacle in the trucks, in the spreaders, which I guess that's the problem right now. In terms of the sand shed, it has been brought to the attention of the select board that there are some broken rafters, if I'm using the right term, in the sand shed. And the rafters get broken by contractors who come in with their dump trucks and dump sand in there. Sometimes they can break the rafters. There's been a discussion with the select board chair and the road commissioner who do not feel that it is a structural issue to the shed. And after the winter, we can look at fixing them. And that is what I have for the report.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything further? Okay, then we will go on to treasurer. The monies that we have in the bank are $569,828.20. And then in our swing account, we have our $30,000 that we always keep there. We have a list of CDs if people want to see them. Then we'll go on to the town clerk report. In the first 2 weeks of January, the town clerk took in $337. And am I doing anything on the chair? Okay, and then this,
Then the grant.
then Katie.
Okay. So I am about to submit my applications for the Community Caring for Canopies grant. That's the tree grant taking care of trees in the right of way. That'll take care of about a mile, if we're funded or awarded that grant, it would take care of about a mile of trees, hazard trees in the right of way coming up Wyndham Hill Road. So that grant will be submitted this week. I would like to ask the board to allocate or to allow Ally Evans to sign a risk assessment form for that grant application. I showed it to Ally last week. It's pretty straightforward in terms of grant applications and things that you do with the state. It just basically asks you what kind of entity your organization is and if you've ever been audited and things like that. So it's pretty administrative.
Okay, you
So
want me to put it over here with the signing ones?
if we want it, if
Ally-
Ally, yeah, if you
Make a
don't
motion
mind.
to authorize Ally Evans on behalf of the board to sign the risk assessment questionnaire for the, what was it, trees, canopy,
Yep, Communities Caring for Canopy.
communities caring for canopy grant.
Second.
Okay, well, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
You abstain and
Yeah.
Steve's not here, so 3-1-1.
Okay, so,
3-0.
yeah,
Okay.
thank you. I have to submit that grant on Thursday, so I'll just get that back from you after that. The next grant that is due early this month is HSIP. It is a safety grant having to do with the highway, where we would be able to get some guardrails for Route 35. It's a pretty standard application, and that's gonna be submitted before, I believe, February 3rd.
35 or Grafton Townshend?
I think it's the Grafton Town.
I think it is, yeah, sorry about that. So that's that application. Jeremy's doing the linear feet kind of measurements and stuff like that, and then we've already met to get those questions finalized, so that'll get
That'll be great.
applied for this week. Other than that, I did submit again to T-Mobile Hometown to see if they would fund the fountain. There's another opportunity through AARP for similar type of funding. That's due March 3rd.
AARP.
Yep, because we are located so close to the hospital in Valley Village and members of those communities patronize our common, we could possibly be eligible for an AARP grant, which is a placemaking grant, which is very similar to the hometown T-Mobile grant of placemaking. What it would do is, if we did decide to allow me to apply for that, it's basically the same thing. If we got the T-Mobile one, we would just say no thank you to AARP
Yeah.
or whichever way. They're pretty similar grants. They allow you to apply for up to $50,000 either one, and it doesn't hurt you to apply for both at the same time and see if you get either of them. So I was wondering if I could have permission to take basically all the information that I've used and gotten to this point with the fountain and turn it around and apply for this AARP and see if we get funded from one of these organizations.
Please do.
if that's
Do you
okay
need
with
a
the board.
motion to do that?
I'm not sure that we've motioned that in the
I don't
past,
think
I've
so.
just, come with my proposals.
I will ask, is there a way maybe for the AARP to present like options of different projects? Like, is it possible to get both and then we don't double dip on the fountain, but we have something that's covering the fountain and then maybe we could do something else?
To my
with the
understanding, and especially because it's in a short period of time, we would have to know what our placemaking project would be.
Okay, they want
You know,
that specified.
Right,
Well,
but they
Could we include like the grass for the common, something like
we
That's
that?
what I'm
probably could,
wondering.
as long as
Yeah.
it would fit in that budget of the maximum amount of money that
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
have. So, we can absolutely try to put that in there and see what we could get.
Good.
So that application's due March 3rd, so I would be filling that in and just answering their more specified essay questions to their standards. Other than that, the VDART grant for the emergency response team, that team with Sherwood and a couple other members of the public, Amy Lynch from the hospital, that committee is coming back together. We had to take a little bit of a break. And so I have checked with Glenn and Warren just about the possible needs for this. It's basically so that in an evacuation situation like we had when the dam was going to breach possibly, it helps you have the supplies on hand if you had to evacuate some animals, which was actually something that could have happened at that time, and there were some issues with that. So that committee will come back to me with an answer on what they would think they would need, and it looks like that VDART opportunity will exist still. It didn't seem to have any kind of expiration date on it that I saw. Other than that, there has been some progress on the USDA compactor grant application. However, now that we've put it into the town warning to ask for an article, I asked the VLCT and they said there could possibly be a conflict with asking the taxpayers while that grant application was pending. Now, if we wanted to pull back on that compactor ask of that particular grant, we could use that for some different type of infrastructure, like the windows at the drainage level of the town hall. That's something that the VLCT grant contact that I meet with every couple of months said that would be a project because the town hall is in the village center. So we could decide to pull back on that compactor opportunity and instead basically I've already read through the fine print of all of the documents that are involved with this grant. So it would just be changing what the application was for. But I think that I would rather come back to you in a month when I have gone back to that VLCT person and talked more about that than ask for that permission right now.
Do you have an expected time when you're going to hear back on that grant? Is like that application already in?
I have not submitted that application. No, I'm glad that I
Gotcha.
found out before I submitted the application
Yeah.
because I wouldn't want to create some kind of conflict in that way. In the meantime, I've met with a contractor for the upstairs windows. That's a contractor that I believe Connie and I both reached out to about 2 years ago in our outreach to figure out who could tell us about the restringing and the weights and all of that kind of stuff. He finally got back to us, visited the windows, and he's going to be giving us an estimate that's a range. The estimate would, because the cultural facilities grants and these different historical preservation grants, all of those opened up again. So this January, the cultural facility grant opened up, I believe the 23rd or somewhere around there. We were not eligible for that last year because we had gotten a historic preservation grant for the slate roof in the funding cycle before that. If you get funded, you need to wait a year and then apply for funding again. So we're now eligible to either try for a cultural facilities grant, which the applications are out for now for the upstairs windows, or we can wait until the summer to apply for the historic preservation grant. So I have emails out to the person that's the contact person for cultural facilities to find out if that project for the windows could fit in that kind of a grant, or if we should wait for historic preservation. What this particular contractor is going to do within this estimate is also give us a range on what would stabilize the windows and kind of updating the weights and the ropes or you could go all the way to, you know, if any of them needed repair or what that would look like, or weatherization. He's also going to build into that estimate, he's gonna give us a bunch of information on how to then take care of the windows, how to wax the strings in there, how to make sure the weights are functioning properly so we're not in a deferred maintenance situation. So that's somebody that I think is gonna be a good contact person going forward, regardless of what happens with either of those grant projects. I wanted to give one update on the UVM Capstone Senior Project. They have reached out to me, we're gonna be meeting tomorrow, and in that meeting with, that's for the planning grant for, or the planning capstone project that they're going to do. It's not necessarily a grant, but it came out of a grant application that we had submitted that they then turned to us and offered us this senior capstone project done by UVM students with the same information that you would get as if you had been funded in a grant. They're gonna give us a timeline, which sounds to be about 4 months, to when we would have that plan and when our public meetings would be. And I will keep you updated on that. The grants that I have that I'm waiting decision on are the temporary lighting grant through VTrans, the sign package grant through VTrans, and the category D, which has to do with a large culvert, and those decisions haven't come through yet. So.
T-Mobile, when is that?
Mid-February.
Okay.
So I'll have an update at my update next month.
And this is our third time trying with them, so we might just get it this time.
Well, they got closer. They got into southern Vermont. So
Yeah.
before it was kind of across the country, and
Yeah.
then they did one in Western Mass.
And they have
Yeah.
things on our tower, so they know where we are.
Yeah, and a lot of it too is just paying attention to what they've funded in the meantime, and what those projects look like, and what kind of community involvement they have, and evolving the application in that direction.
Okay,
Thank you. It's a lot. Big
thank you
update.
for everything you do. Anybody have any questions? Okay, then we'll move on. Old business, so. We have new business is to reappoint the town ethics appointee to the State Ethics Commission. Last year on January 28th, we appointed Connie, and we are supposed to do it every year, so we're kind of right on time. Shall we have a motion
So moved.
to appoint Connie again? Is that what we're moving?
Second.
Okay, discussion?
Connie, it was brought up in an email from Craig that the state ethics board just didn't have your information. I didn't see if there was any follow-up as to like what happened, but I mean, do you have?
My recollection is that you appointed me, it took a little while, but you appointed me and I sent it off. I didn't hear a reply.
Yeah.
It sounds like at the time it sounded like a fairly new commission, so
Yeah.
I didn't.
Just got lost in the
anticipate-
shuffle.
I didn't anticipate.
And
any
when
response.
I called them to find out some information,
Yeah.
it's an organization that's
That doesn't-
defunct right now
Yeah.
because they don't have funding. They're still working there enough to answer the phone, so it could have gotten lost in the sauce that way.
Yeah.
The one thing I did hear about an ethics committee is we should have 10 people, volunteers that you can pull out of a hat, 5 people if you have trouble, instead of waiting until there might be an ethics complaint and trying to get 5 people who could be riled up on either side of the complaint, to have 10 people ahead of time. So I don't know how we want to proceed with that.
Yeah.
Do we want that to be part of this,
I don't think that is part of this, but that is something we can
put on the
put on
agenda?
another agenda.
Okay, but I just
But I
wanted
think that
to,
is definitely a separate matter, because this is
Okay.
for a state
no,
liaison, right?
the state liaison said that's how we should do it,
Yeah,
so. So we'll put it on for next meeting and we'll get 10 people,
Put the 10, okay.
yeah. And, but, okay, all those in favor of appointing Connie,
Aye.
opposed? So 5-0.
I'm abstaining.
So that's just 401.
Okay. And let's
Better
see,
stop at that.
she's gonna just do it for everything.
Now that we're not a 3-person board.
The reappraisal agreement.
Helen is on Zoom if you have questions for her.
Hi, Helen.
I'm gonna ask her to unmute so that she's.
Hello.
Hey, Helen.
So in your packet, you'll see that this is the second round of RFPs that were sent to reappraisal companies.
Does everybody know what an RFP is?
Yes.
Request for proposal. Helen did an initial round, didn't get any positive responses or responses at all. Did a second round and then got one positive response, which is Nemrick, which is the computer accounting company that we use. And she included the contract that they would have us sign. And Helen can answer any questions.
I'd make a motion to table this till the next meeting and give us a chance to go through it, come up with questions that we possibly could think about past right this minute, and bring it to vote next meeting.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
Helen, is there like a deadline that we need to be working on here?
No, he did not put it. Wow, it's echo. He didn't put a date on there or anything. I think another couple weeks is fine.
Great.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
No.
Okay, we all said yes. Establishing a treasurer transition plan proposal. Connie, would you like to speak to this?
Yeah, it's not to establish the proposal, it is a proposal to establish a transition process. So the treasurer has informed us, and she will have that notice in the town report, that she is ending she's not running again for a term as treasurer. So we have the challenge of transitioning to a new position. So on this proposal, I have laid out the proposed structure that's going in front of the town voters on at town meeting. If that all gets approved, then we have to be ready to go for the month of March with a plan to have no gap in procedures. So we have had one conversation with the woman from Nemrick that works closely with the treasurer. It was a very helpful conversation. We worked out some potential procedures to cover basically payroll, deposits, and accounts payable, if I have the terminology correctly. It was clear coming out of that meeting that Ally, as the chair, cannot navigate this process alone. We need a transition team. So I am suggesting that we, as a select board, immediately form a transition team that would be made up of select board members, however many want to be on it, the select board assistant. I've asked Helen Holt if she would be willing to. She has accounting experience and has been helpful in the general fund committee meeting. She's willing to help out in any way that she can, and to have a person from Nemrick be on this. Darlene Kelly hopefully would be the woman, and then anybody from the public who wants to sit in are welcome to do so. That we would form that transition team right away, and that they would immediately put together a plan to bring in front of the select board at the February 10th meeting, or a special meeting if we have to move quicker, on specific immediate transition plan. That's the proposal that I'm suggesting to the board.
So should we motion essentially to create like a committee
Transition team?
transition team?
I think it would only help to have a select board approved
Yeah.
group that's working on it, given our discussion earlier.
And we need a plan and an end game before town meeting, because we need a check signer.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have Elaine, you're not gonna have Anita, so you need a check signer. So this all has to be done before town meeting.
Well, but just for argument's sake, we don't know what's gonna happen at town meeting. If we knew that the voters were going to agree with our proposal, then we could move more definitely towards something without people in mind, like who the people were, or we could go and hire a bookkeeper if we knew the voters were going to approve the way we've set it up.
If you look at the top
I
of
know
the
the voters
proposal,
are gonna approve this and that, would be ahead of the game in a lot of different departments.
I think that if you look at the top of the proposal, it spells out the duties of the treasurer and the duties of the bookkeeper. So whoever gets elected at town meeting is the check signer, according to our structure. So we would have a check signer in place, but it's all the systems that go into place to produce a check that we have to have a plan on. So yes, I would request that the select board discuss and decide if this is.
And a lot of towns have transitions and it's not undoable, but it has to be thought out.
Make a motion to establish a treasurer transition plan, or a transition team, according to the plan proposal that Connie just summarized for us.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
And any further discussion?
So
How many members of this team is there gonna be?
Well, I think there are a couple people or a few people on this team that have already volunteered to do it, if it got established, so.
I will join.
I think the three of us have agreed to, you folks are welcome to as well. You're straight out
I'm not
with
gonna be able to get that.
snow and wood and
Plus Helen, Darlene.
Helen, Darlene, and maybe
Any other
even
members of the
Christine
public.
that was here
Yeah.
for the 100th fund.
So I have a question about engaging Darlene, just understanding that we're all volunteering our time and Darlene is a contracted person from Limerick who is 100 and how
Maybe
much?
she'd like to volunteer her time too.
Maybe.
I doubt it.
Not sure about that.
Yeah.
So
But
that's
it's a little
just,
tough. We would
we'd have to be
pay for
really
her-
strategic about how often we're gonna
Yeah.
engage with her, because
Yeah.
I'm sure there is still a need to engage with her, but that's just like
I
a
think
concern.
there is
Right,
for right now, but that's very helpful, that we should be very prudent about it.
yeah. She may not be there at every meeting or for the entire meeting or
Right.
whatever, right, but
Right.
maybe we're just summarizing language, sending an email.
Right.
And maybe she'd be more an informal part of the team in the way that the team would engage her when with questions,
Yeah.
but she's not necessarily.
Yeah,
'cause
Or
we
read
wouldn't-
over what we've
Review
done
something,
and,
yeah.
right,
we
said
wouldn't
there's a
wanna
red
have
flag
her on the
here.
books for the amount of time that it might take to
Yeah.
make those decisions.
whatever we could do, 15 minutes or less with her,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then if it has to go over, it has to go over sometimes, but
16 minutes.
16 minutes tops.
So we need to vote on it.
yep, we need a vote. All those in favor of us establishing the
Transition team.
transition team?
The TTT.
Hi.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the
So
ayes have
that's
it.
a 5-0, right?
Yep.
Everybody voted?
Yep.
Do
Okay.
we want to establish who wants to join that? Are we clear who's going to be engaged on that moving forward?
We have to warn it because there's 3 select board members on it, so we have to get it warned right away.
So currently, I know that Ally Evans, Nick Suarez, and Katie Morrow have volunteered to be on that team. If Steve and Rob want to be on it, you can let me know. We'll certainly be CC'd on stuff.
Very good.
Great.
Okay, so we voted, we're all set to move
We're
on.
good there.
We have 2 town hall requests. One is from the library and one is from ANR, Vermont Department of Natural Resources. They're both here.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Friends of Townsend Library use of the town hall on February 12th from 4 to 8 p.m. I'd like to waive the fee and authorize Ally Evans to sign on behalf of the board.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, Con. Then the ANR Land Planner.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the A&R Lands Planner Town Hall use request for a public scoping meeting to gather community input for land management planning regarding Jamaica State Park on Wednesday, February 18th from 5 to 8:30, with the event running between 6 and 8. I'm not going to specify the waive the fee, and I would like to authorize Ally Evans to sign on behalf of the board.
Did you say,
Second.
Did you say to waive the fee?
No,
Not waive.
not waive the fee. As this is not a town resident, a town matter, or a nonprofit in the town.
And Steve seconded.
Okay, and they did give us insurance liability. Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That's just mine, don't worry about it. And corrections to the town warning.
We were informed when I had posted the warning last Wednesday. It was brought to our attention that in Article 6, the last sentence, there was the wrong year. It stated May 30th, 2026, when it should have been May 30th, 2027. We called VLCT, we spoke with the Secretary of State. They said it is fine for the select board to correct the date, re-sign it, and I'll post it again.
Okay.
Because January 22nd was the opening, the first day of posting the town warning, not one day or the last day. So we are well within the time period to correct and repost. So what you have in front of you is the corrected town warning that I would ask the select board to sign. The only change is in 7 is the correct year.
6.
Article 6.
I'm sorry, 6, not 7.
Yeah.
So I do think it's a vote.
Make a motion
Yeah.
to sign the corrected town warning.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and.
Excuse me.
Yes,
Opposed.
you opposed it?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear that.
You didn't ask.
Okay, we are going to go into executive session. I'd like to invite Connie to join us, and the rest of you folks can wait outside and come back in when we're done.
So Ally, are you making the motion?
I'll make the motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
During the executive session, we discussed 2 ethics complaints that we received from the board. One was pertaining to a select board member signing warrants in which they were being paid. And another was about use of the town truck. We have determined that there is no action necessary.
Second.
Second, all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion.
Abstained?
Wait a minute, that was a motion to do what?
I was just reporting
You were
back.
just reporting.
Oh, we
I'll make
didn't
a
need to
motion.
make the motion?
I
Okay,
think
Make sure
we covered it.
We voted on it.
well, okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Who's
Okay,
second?
second,
Everyone.
all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.